Hello, this is O. Welcome everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Trancey Talk. And this episode will be talking about the introduction of hypnosis. How you got introduced to hypnosis and how that started your journey and got you to, well, be here. But before we start, of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Always wanted to say that. And also, don't forget to follow me on Twitter to stay updated with all my tweets and all my content. And finally, always appreciate it if you can support me on Patreon, because there you'll find all my latest files and the new project that I'll be announcing by the end of the episode. So, hello everyone in chat. Hey Zero, Halo, Allison, and HP. How are you all doing? I hope you're excited for this episode, and please let me know if there are any problems or any errors or anything, so I'd just check. Cause as usual, sometimes I have some technical difficulties. But yeah, let's get this episode started. So, introduction to hypnosis. I think there are a few common stories to how people got introduced to hypnosis, but I'll tell you mine first, and I'd like to hear I'd like to hear your stories after that. For me, it was the typical just watching cartoons and always loving the episodes that had some sort of mind control, some sort of hypnosis, and some kind of brainwashing. These episodes were always favorites of mine. And I think there is a little bit of lag happening in the stream, but let me know. Anyway, as I was saying, it was always the cartoon episodes that had some sort of mind control, some sort of hypnosis or brainwashing in them. These episodes were always my favorites and always the ones that I'd be drawn to them and always enjoy watching. But I remember specifically it was Scooby-Doo, if you're familiar with it, which I think most of us are. And it was the episode where there was a clown that hypnotized the gang, but it was specifically when that clown hypnotized Daphne. I always remember the coin spinning and being shiny, and how Daphne looked at it and smiled in the end. That's always, that's the one that I remember the most, and the one that I know really got me into hypnosis and really pushed me to start looking into it and to, reach where I am in this journey. And yeah, there seems to be some sort of lag. Fortunately, it's not that big, but also let me check. it might cut off for a second, but let me check to make sure everything is fine. So give me a second. And we're back. So yeah, hopefully this will help. I just adjusted a little thing and hopefully that will help. So we'll see. Halo says, one day I thought there are hypno dives on YouTube, so that's how I got into it. Oh, that's interesting. Well, let's get back to how I got into hypnosis. And as I was saying, it started with the cartoons and episodes in Scooby-Doo, and after watching that episode, I think I was like maybe 10 or 11. I just always enjoyed these episodes and kept watching them, but I believe by the time I was 13, I got a little more interested, especially with, well, growing up and puberty and all that. I got more interested in it and I started reading about it, doing some researches, just looking online and learning about it. And I've stayed or kept doing that for almost 4 or 5 years until I was 18. Because, as always, minors should not be involved in especially erotic hypnosis and kinky stuff. So yeah, by the time I was 8, looking for websites and forums and all that stuff, and I don't remember what was the website I found, but I think it was like a website similar to Facebook but just for the hypnosis community. And I joined the site, started talking to people, had a few text sessions there, and a few months later I wrote my first script, which is, by the way, the relaxation file, which is the first file ever on my channel. So that was, I'd like to say, 8 years or 7 years ago. It's been some time since that happened. And yeah, after that, by a year or two, I started this channel, started making audio files and then videos. And by 2017, I think, I made my Patreon. That's when I actually got serious into making content. It started slow, and I'll be honest with you, the quality was not the best. But I think that's normal and it takes time. Yeah, it definitely takes time and it takes a lot of work and effort to reach the point where you can call yourself at least an experienced hypnotist. And from there I started doing files on a kind of regular basis until I actually got more serious about it, and I used to make 2 files, or at least 1 file and 1 short file a week, but that drained me a lot, so I took a hiatus for around a year and a half, and at that time I was working on the hypnovirus, and finally, at the start of this year, 2021, I got back to making files, and yeah, I started making files again, and I've worked on the hypnovirus for most of the year, but I'm also taking a break from that so I can continue working on files and making these episodes, as well as my new project, which I think now, after telling you about my journey, it's a great time to announce it. So starting this July, I'll be creating, it's gonna be interactive hypnosis stories, which are basically stories you read and you become the main character in the story. You get to live out different fantasies and different experiences by reading the story and deciding on what to do in that story. So the first story I'll be creating is a hypnosis show story. It's the classic going to a fair or a carnival and finding out that there is a hypnosis show in that place. There is a hypnosis show taking place in that fair, and it's up to you what happens next. So yeah, that's the project I'm working on. It's gonna be part of the Hypnovirus website for now, because I'm still testing it out and I want to see how it goes and what happens with it. But I wanted to, since this is an introduction and it turned out to be more of my personal journey with hypnosis so far, so I thought this is a good time to announce it as well. But yeah, this is my story. What about yours? Halo says ultra hypnosis is the one that got me into it. Yeah, I'm sure that there are a couple of specific channels on YouTube that got a lot of people, especially like in the 2010s, especially mid 2010s. There are a couple of channels that I think most of us know that got people into hypnosis, and ultra hypnosis is definitely the biggest one of them there is. I think it has 500,000 maybe, so that's awesome, and they do a lot of great content for sure. So yeah, what about you? What did you, or how did you start your hypnosis journey? How did you got introduced to hypnosis? Allison says there was a book series I read that had a villain use hypnosis, and then I found files. Kind of shocking that Scooby-Doo didn't do it or any TV show, to be honest. Yeah, well, it's fine, it's not a big deal. Everyone has their way of starting. So yeah, what was the book, if you remember? Or if you don't want to share it, that's also fine. But I'm curious, what was the book that the villain used hypnosis on? And what other shows, or if you remember your first file, if you remember your first hypnosis experience, that's also a good time to talk about it. I think for me, my first hypnosis experience, hypnotizing someone, probably was on Omegle, if people know what that is. That was like a anonymous chat thing that people used to use. It might have been all fake, to be honest, I don't know. It was just me trying to hypnotize a random person, so you never know. So yeah, it started out from there, and then I went to the what's it called, to the website, the Hypnosis community website, and that's how I'm here. HP says I got into it through YouTube. I looked more into it and got curious, but I didn't really believe into it at that time. But it does feel like as a child I kinda have been into the idea of being brainwashed. Yeah, that's definitely a thing that a lot of people have experienced. Like, even if you don't remember or if it started out as files, some or many of us have had it since they were children, or at least at some point they always felt, for a subject I'd say, they always felt that they enjoyed someone else being in control, or they enjoyed someone else being able to brainwash them or hypnotize them, or whatever the term you'd like to use is. And yeah, and even if you didn't act on it, or if you didn't actually think about it until you found out that hypnosis exists on YouTube and started listening to files, that's also normal. And it's, I think you can't quantify it. Like, you can't say that's the most common way people got into hypnosis, but you can always say that it's one of the most common ways. Like cartoons, YouTube, some books, I'd say. These are probably the top 3 ways people got into hypnosis, at least from what I've seen and what I know. So yeah, I'd say that's one of the most common ways people got into hypnosis. For sure, in my time so far, like in my time in the community, I'd say 80% or more started with one of these 3. Either cartoon or some kind of show when they were children, or it was YouTube, or it was a book or a series or some sort of media that got them into it. So yeah, that's how I'd say most of us got introduced to hypnosis. But what about your journey? Do you remember how you do you remember your first hypnosis experience, your first file? Doesn't have to be like the first. It can be just maybe one of the most significant files you've listened to at that time when you started, or the file that got you like, this seems like it's real and I want to try more. Do you remember how you got into that, or how you started, or what was the point where you actually said, okay, I want to experience more and I want to try more stuff and just see what hypnosis is all about? Yeah, something I'd love to know, and if you'd like to share it, then I definitely want to hear about it. In the meantime, I'd also like to talk to you about something. It's totally random and I'm just chatting right now with you because I'm excited about it, and when Alison said a villain, that got me to remember that this morning I've been working on the notes, because usually my process of working is to write down some notes, or like some phrases or some stuff that I'd like to say in a certain file, and just start trimming it and making sure that it all makes sense before recording a file, and then And yeah, and just making sure these notes are all proper and going well, and the sequence of the files gonna make sense. So this morning I made my longest draft and that was 4 pages. 4 pages of me just talking about the file and what's happening. So yeah, that was just something I wanted to share with all of you. Anyway, Allison says, I mean, the files I tried didn't work on me for months, but I was determined to make it work, so I never gave up on it. Well, that's actually a great thing, because a lot of people would be like, okay, this doesn't work, I don't like this, or I just don't enjoy it, or something like that. So you being determined and wanting to actually pursue it and make sure that you actually experience hypnosis, that's a great thing. HV says, it came like a few days later that I wanted to really try it. The first few I listened to didn't work on me. First time I reacted to a trigger was by Ultra Hypnosis about a month or so later. Yeah, again, Ultra Hypnosis definitely has a lot of great content, and they've been on YouTube for a very long time, so it's definitely a great first experience, I'd say. Halo says, the last video I remember is a spider hypnosis from Wizard Hypnosis. It saddened me greatly what happened to him. I honestly don't know anything about that file, so I'm sorry. It saddened you. It seems like it wasn't the most cheerful experience, or not experience, but story in that file. Allison says, yeah, I can have patience sometimes. Well, that's good to know. I wasn't sure about that, but seems like you do. But yeah, one of the first things, or one of the first times I got introduced to hypnosis, or I've realized that there is a hypnosis community, was in a place I don't know if anyone knows about it, and I think it no longer exists now. It's called HypnoChan. That was like 8 or 9 years ago, I don't even remember. But at that time it was like, if you know 4chan or stuff like that, it was a place where people posted some hypnosis stuff, either original content, stories, files, or whatever. And that was the first time that I actually realized that there are a lot of people, or at least at the time, there are people that actually are into this like me. And I remember there were a couple at that time, don't remember their names at all. I remember there were people there that actually posted short videos of themselves getting hypnotized, and that was my first time actually seeing like normal people, nothing from websites like the old websites that had actors and models and stuff like that, and people getting hypnotized. It was just a couple doing hypnosis together and enjoying it and posting stuff about it. Yeah, that was the first time that I actually stopped and thought, this is actually real and people do get hypnotized, and it was like a new world, as they say, opened in front of me. Halo says the videos were really good. It's what the outside community did that made him stop making videos. Well, I don't know what happened, and seems like there's a bit of drama behind that, so I don't think this is the best place to talk about it, but as long as everyone's safe and no one got hurt, then that's what matters to me, to be honest. But anyway, back to introduction to hypnosis. Oh, and as usual, there will be a small hypnosis session by the end of the stream, so stay tuned for that. And as always, if you have ideas or suggestions for this, because I don't think we can make or have a demo about hypnosis when it comes to the topic we are talking about today, but if you have any specific requests for today's hypnosis session, let me know. And if it's something simple and fun and everyone would like to experience it, then I'll definitely be happy to make that. So yeah, as I was saying, these couple on HypnoChan were the first people that actually got me to realize that this is a real thing and anyone, but of course you need to practice it safely and with someone who consents and wants to experience it with you. But yeah, they're the ones that made me realize that this is an actual thing. And since then, I decided, yeah, this is definitely something I love and something I want to continue to explore. And I want to see what this community has to offer. And I think 8 years later, and saying 8 years later, it's a bit of a surprise. Excuse me. It's a bit of a surprise hearing myself say that. I've been in the community for 8 years, and that it doesn't make me feel old because I literally started by the time I was 18, so it's normal to feel that that was a long time, but it definitely makes me interested seeing how, or looking back at how things were when I started compared to now. It's a very different landscape, I'd say. Allison says I always stayed away from stage hypnosis. So the first time I saw people be hypnotized when I joined Twitter. That's interesting. And I think you don't have to like watch or join stage hypnosis, but I know that actually a lot of people I've met and talked with avoid, or like who are into hypnosis avoid stage hypnosis because they're kind of nervous and scared that they'd be called out, and because, well, a lot of people I know are into erotic hypnosis, so to be called out in a vanilla and casual hypnosis show, that would be pretty weird and pretty embarrassing, and not a lot of people actually want that. So I get what you mean by staying away from stage hypnosis. For me personally, I've never been interested in these kind of shows. A, because I don't think there are any where I live, and B, because I'm always like, I don't really want to watch someone else doing the hypnosis. I want to be the one hypnotizing people, so I can just do this myself, so why would I watch it? At least that's how I feel and think about it, but I'm sure there are a lot of people who like to watch it and learn. Well, if it comes to learning, then yeah, definitely I'd like to see or learn how someone does something, so I'd get inspired by it and try to do it myself in my own style. But other than that, I wouldn't go to a hypnosis show for entertainment. I would not be entertained, to be honest. I'd be more like, yeah, I think I wouldn't say I can do it better, but I'd say I'd just be more like a judge than be a judge and be mad or annoyed if that hypnotist does something I don't like. So yeah, I definitely won't be having fun in a hypnosis show. But what about you? Did any of you ever go to a hypnosis show or ever saw one? What kind of experiences were, yeah, mostly experiences that you had where you were not the person getting hypnotized, but you were watching someone else getting hypnotized? Whether it was in a show, in an actual show you went to, whether it was just on YouTube, a video you remember, or someone you remember that got hypnotized. Yeah, tell me about that. I'd love to know if you've ever saw or were not the person hypnotized, but more like the person watching the hypnosis happen. If that ever happened to you, how was it and what happened? Yeah, I'd love to know that. And I think also the other thing, or one of the reasons I actually started this channel and started making hypnosis content, not just hypnotizing people in person, was I always loved the idea that even if I'm not around, people are getting hypnotized by me. Like just seeing someone comment or say anything about the things, the files or videos or anything I've done on this channel or in my Patreon, or even just a tweet, knowing that someone got affected by that and got to experience some sort of trance, even if it wasn't the deepest or the strongest experience they ever had, just knowing that I was able to help someone experience hypnosis and experience trance, even if I wasn't around. That's always something that I loved, and it was one of the main reasons I actually started the channel. HP said, I almost went to one at an amusement park that I was at with a group of other people, but the others didn't want to. Damn, that sucks. I'd say if I had the opportunity to go with other people, especially if one of them I know was a subject, I'd just go because I'd enjoy watching their reaction. Like I'd definitely tease them and maybe put them in a light trance myself, but I wouldn't let them volunteer if they don't want to volunteer, of course. I just tease them, since that's like the perfect place to have people get hypnotized, because hypnosis show. Allison says, I think the idea of watching someone be hypnotized in real time would be fun, but I've never really had that happen. I've only hypnotized someone in person once, and watching how they fell and how they dropped in trance and how they got hypnotized, but by what? I can't speak anymore. And seeing them getting hypnotized by what I was doing to them. Yeah, that's definitely one of the best experiences I've had in my life, hands down. Like, it's been almost 2 years. It's been, yeah, almost 2 years now, but I remember every detail during that time. And it was awesome. That's all I'm gonna say about it, because it would not be right to share a personal experience with someone else without their consent. But yeah, it was definitely a great thing. And I'd say if I ever had two people in person, or even just in a video call or something, I'd play around, or I think I did it once or twice before. I definitely play around with that idea, with the concept of hypnotizing someone while the other just watches, or using the hypnotized person to hypnotize the other person. So yeah. HV said there was a friend who also was a subject like me, but I was kinda too shy to ask more about going there. Generally got problems with speaking up, so that's nothing new. Yeah, that definitely sucks. But it's okay. I'm sure if you ever got the chance to go to another show, I'd say, yeah, go for it. Just, even if you don't want to get hypnotized, at least go check it out. And if you have this friend with you, then definitely go check it out. And if you don't want to be part of the show, then just keep each other safe and make sure that the other person is awake, and just enjoy the show and see what a hypnosis show in real life would look like. Because I'm sure a lot of you have seen or have watched or have even seen a couple of shifts that are always floating around of hypnosis shows, but to actually be in a show and seeing what's happening and experiencing the whole thing in person is a whole different experience, in my opinion. So yeah, if you are into that and if you'd like to go, then I definitely say you should go to a hypnosis show and get to experience that show for yourself and see what's it all about. But yeah, and hey, if you don't want to go, yeah, this is a plug. You can always check out the story that I'll be posting next month of participating or not, depending on what you choose, in a hypnosis show. You should definitely check that out when it comes. Yeah, when I post it. So yeah, I'd say for me, when it comes to a hypnosis show, if I ever, like, just hypothetically, if I ever decided to do a hypnosis show, which I highly doubt I would, because I don't enjoy that part of hypnosis, the whole theatrical part like that. I'd enjoy it in a person or in a small group of people I already know, but just for strangers, yeah, that is not really my thing. But if I ever decided to go to one, I'd say that I'd have a much more intimate setting to it, not the whole extravagant thing you see where the guy or the girl have like 20 people there. So yeah, it would be like just a small group of people enjoying hypnosis. Halo says, I've been to one, but the guy didn't really hypnotize anyone. He just did ship magic tricks. Well, I'd say that's more of a magic show than a hypnosis show then. But yeah, magic and hypnosis in these kind of settings is just a word people use in these shows just to get more people into the show. But yeah, that was definitely more of just a magic show than an actual hypnosis show. But yeah, as I was saying, it would be just an intimate place or an intimate setting where it's 20 people maximum, not volunteers, just the audience, 20 people, and I'd let whoever wants to volunteer come and join me, and if people get hypnotized in the audience, I'd just have them enjoy their time, ask them if they want to come up on stage and be part of the show, but it would be a pretty nice and relaxing and just soft and gentle, I'd say, experience where you just get to experience what hypnosis and what it feels like going into trance. But it wouldn't be like you're now a chicken, or you will dance or sing on stage and do all these things that I've been unfortunately seeing a lot floating around when it comes to people sharing hypnosis show stuff. That's definitely not something I enjoy. I enjoy the more like focusing on inductions, focusing on how people would drop, focusing on just having these people get to experience a hypnosis session, or just have them experience trance in a way that would actually, first of all, make them believe and make them sure that hypnosis is real. And second of all, it would definitely be an experience that would make them want to experience more and want to explore hypnosis more, because that's definitely one of the things that I love, having someone who doesn't really know much, or having a new person who just got into hypnosis and helping them out and showing them the way, helping them explore hypnosis and all it has to offer in a safe and in a nice environment, where, because unfortunately there are a lot of creeps and a lot of weirdos out there, especially in this community, so just helping them experience hypnosis in a nice and safe way is definitely something I always love to do, as long as that person wants me to do that. It's something that I always love to do with people who are new to hypnosis and new to the wonderful world of hypnosis. So yeah, that would be me if I decided to have my own hypnosis show. And hey, you can always volunteer to it if you'd like. HP says, I think I'll go to bed, kind of feel like I'm about to fall asleep. Good night, everyone. Good night, HP. I'm glad you were able to make it, and I hope you sleep well. And of course, feel free to go back to the video. It will be posted on YouTube, and enjoy the hypnosis part, which is coming pretty. So yeah, as I was saying, if you ever want to be part of my hypnosis show, you're welcome to join me. And I believe, excuse me about that. I believe that, yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to introduction to hypnosis. I'd love to hear if you have any stories or any experiences you'd like to share. I'd love to hear about them. Halo says, I seen a game show on TV where they would hypnotize 4 or 5 people and then make them play basic things like sorting flowers. Now that I think of it, I couldn't really get away from hypnosis. Yeah, something like that I'd enjoy watching. Just people getting hypnotized to do some basic tasks and maybe use hypnosis to make it more entertaining for the viewers. Like, as you said, sorting flowers, I'd say maybe make them confused between colors or make them forget a certain color. So if you tell them, I'd like this red color, and you've hypnotized them to make them forget what is red, then yeah, stuff like that I definitely enjoy and would be fun to watch, in my opinion. And yeah, that's something that I've always liked to do. I wouldn't say soft and gentle, but I'd say the chill part of hypnosis, where you just hypnotize someone just because you both want it, just because you want to hypnotize that person and that person wants to get hypnotized, and have a good time, enjoy yourself, enjoy your time together, and enjoy what you're doing together. That's pretty much it. Sometimes that's all it needs to be. That's all hypnosis needs to be. A tool you can use to enjoy yourself and enjoy the company you're with, have some fun with it, play around with it, and just have a good time in general. And speaking of good time, I think this is the best time to have our little session. And as usual, as I always say, if it's always up to you if you'd like to be part of the session or not. You can just enjoy your time listening to my voice, relaxing, but you don't have to go into trance if you don't want to. It's totally normal to just feel good and relaxed and enjoy yourself without actually going into trance. And for this trance, it's gonna be a pretty, since we were just talking about it, it's gonna be a pretty basic one where you get to enjoy the sound of my voice and enjoy me talking to you, enjoy listening to me, and enjoy falling for me. Enjoy relaxing and enjoy feeling calm and comfortable. Enjoy having no worries and having no thoughts to bother you. Enjoy feeling your stress fading and the tension in your body disappearing. Enjoy how my voice gets your body relaxed, loosens up your muscles, and makes it so easy to listen. Makes it so easy to just listen and relax. Makes it so easy. Makes it so easy to listen and relax, and don't worry about a thing. There is no need to worry about anything. Just listening, focusing, letting yourself fall, letting yourself sink, letting yourself drop down, deep down, in this nice and relaxing state, in this nice and relaxing state, where all you hear is my voice. All you hear is my voice and words filling your mind. It feels good. It feels so good. It feels so good to let yourself go, let yourself fall, let yourself sink all the way down, sink all the way down, deep in this peaceful trance, deep in this wonderful and peaceful trance, where all you hear is my words and voice, where you get to enjoy falling deeper and deeper for me. A trance you can just keep falling deeper and deeper in. A trance that when you wake up from, you'll feel so wonderful and amazing. A trance where you'll feel refreshed. You'll feel like you've just woke up from a wonderful nap. A trance where you feel that it was so nice and peaceful and chill. Your mind just took a little break now, and it's time for it to wake up. 1. Starting to wake up. 2. Feeling like you're waking up from a wonderful nap. And 3. Wide awake. Hello everybody. Hope you've enjoyed this little trance. And who knows, maybe it's not over yet. Maybe I'll just drop you again in a moment. Maybe I'll just drop you now. Drop deeper, even deeper now. Dropping further and further down. Deeper and deeper you go. Feeling wonderful. Feeling so good and wonderful, enjoying this trance. Enjoying falling and sinking again. Enjoying this lovely time where you don't have to worry or think about a thing. A trance where you can just keep on falling safely with no worries, no cares, and no stress at all. As I wake you up again. I wake you up again now. Waking up now. Hello again. Hope you've enjoyed this little extra bonus trance. It's definitely been a pretty nice time, and I've really enjoyed this episode and talking to all of you, and I hope you've enjoyed it as well. I hope you had a good time and enjoyed talking about your introduction to hypnosis and to hear me talk a lot, I'd say. Yeah, I've definitely talked a lot, but I think if you're here, then you definitely enjoy my voice and enjoy hearing me talk. And I'm absolutely grateful for that. And I can see that Allison definitely enjoyed this episode. And I'm really happy to hear that and to know that. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up. But before I go, as usual, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and it always helps when you give me suggestions and tell me about the things you'd love to see more of on the channel or regarding my content in general. So I'd love to hear from all of you and to hear your thoughts and ideas. And you can do that by following me on Twitter, because that's where I'm mostly active. That's where I post all about my content, about any new news, and where I'm just available most of the time. As for the content itself, then I'd say for any new content, you should definitely check my Patreon, and I'd absolutely love it if you support me, because there is where I post all my latest files and content, and that's the place you need to be in order to get my first interactive story that's gonna be live next month. That, as well as at least 2 new files. Who knows, maybe I'll see, depending on a few variables, if I decide to start making 3 files a month. But it's too early to talk about that now, so we'll just keep it at 2 for now. And I still haven't really decided what the 2 new files will be for next month, but keep an eye on my Patreon and my Twitter in order to be notified and know, well, be the first to know what exactly I have planned for next month. And if you want if you want us to talk about a certain topic, then I'd say definitely message me about that topic and get to vote on it only on my Patreon. So yeah, this was the Great O, and this was Trancey Talk, Episode 5, Introduction to Hypnosis. I hope you all have a great day, evening, night, and until next time, always remember to trance safely.